We are going to learn about finding the equation of a line using point-slope form, and then converting it to slope-intercept form. And point-slope form is used to determine the equation of a line. Point-slope form is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. M is the slope. X comma y is a point on the line, and x1 comma y1 is another point on the line. When we plug the values we have, we will turn the equation to slope-intercept form. Slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. M is the slope and b is the y-intercept. The y-intercept is the y value when x is 0. Let's do some practice problems. What is the equation of a line that passes through the point 4, 3 and has a slope of 2? So let's see what we are given in this problem. We are given a point, which is 4, 3. x1 is 4, since 4 is the x-coordinate, and y1 is 3, since 3 is the y-coordinate. We are also given the slope is 2, and since m is the slope, m equals 2. Point-slope form is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So let's substitute the numbers we have. We have the values for x1, y1, and m. So we will get y minus 3 equals 2 times x minus 4. Then, on the left side, we have y minus 3. Then on the right side, we will distribute. On the right side, 2 times x is 2x, and 2 times negative 4 is negative 8. So on the right side, we have 2x minus 8. Then, we will convert it to slope-intercept form. Slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. This means that we will put y on one side and everything else on the other side. So we will have to add both sides by 3. We will get y equals 2x minus 5. Therefore, the equation of the line that passes through the point 4, 3 and has a slope of 2 is y equals 2x minus 5. Y equals 2x minus 5 is in slope-intercept form. 2 is the slope, and negative 5 is the y-intercept. This means that negative 5 is the y value when x equals 0. So let's draw this out. So we have the line y equals 2x minus 5. So we have an x and y table. And on the x side, we will put negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, and 2. So let's see what the corresponding y values are. So when x equals negative 2, we have 2 times negative 2 minus 5. We are substituting negative 2 for x. This equals negative 4 minus 5, which equals negative 9. So when x equals negative 2, y equals negative 9. Now let's look at x equals negative 1. When x equals negative 1, we have 2 times negative 1 minus 5, which equals negative 2 minus 5, which equals negative 7. When x equals negative 1, y equals negative 7. Let's look at x equals 0. When x equals 0, we have 2 times 0 minus 5, which equals negative 5. When x equals 0, y equals negative 5. Let's look at x equals 1. When x equals 1, we have 2 times 1 minus 5, which equals 2 minus 5, which equals negative 3. When x equals 1, y equals negative 3. And let's look at x equals 2. When x equals 2, we have 2 times 2 minus 5, which equals 4 minus 5, which equals negative 1. When x equals 2, y equals negative 1. So let's plot this on a coordinate plane. When x equals negative 2, y equals negative 9. When x equals negative 1, y equals negative 7. When x equals 0, y equals negative 5. When x equals 1, y equals negative 3. When x equals 2, y equals negative 1. So if you notice, there is a positive slope. And that makes sense because the slope in the equation, which is 2, is positive. Now let's look at x equals negative 2 and x equals negative 1. You'll notice that from x equals negative 2 to x equals negative 1, you have to move 1 unit across and 2 units up. And this makes sense. The slope is rise over run, and since the slope is 2, you rise 2 units and you go across or you run 1 unit. Now let's look at the y-intercept. The y-intercept is when x equals 0. Therefore, the y-intercept is always going to be on the y-axis. So when x equals 0, y equals negative 5. And this makes sense because in the equation y equals 2x minus 5, negative 5 is the y-intercept. Let's try another problem. What is the equation of the line with a slope of negative 1/2 and passes through the point negative 5, 2? So let's see what we are given in this problem. We are given a point, which is negative 5, 2. x1 is negative 5, since negative 5 is the x-coordinate, and y1 is 2, since 2 is the y-coordinate. We are also given the slope as negative 1/2, and since m is the slope, m equals negative 1/2. Point slope form is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So let's substitute the numbers we have. We have the values for x1, y1, and m. So we will get y minus 2 equals negative 1/2 x minus negative 5. This is equal to y minus 2 equals negative 1/2 x plus 5. Then, we will distribute. On the left side, we have y minus 2. On the right side, we have negative 1/2 times x, which equals negative 1/2 x, and negative 1/2 times 5, which is negative 5 over 2. So on the right side, we have negative 1/2 x minus 5 over 2. Then, we have to convert it to slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope and b is the y-intercept. We will put the y on one side and everything else on the other side. So we will have to add both sides by 2. We will get y equals negative 1/2 x minus 5 over 2 plus 2. Then, we put all the numbers under a common denominator. We will get y equals negative 1/2 x minus 5 over 2 plus 4 over 2, since 2 equals 4 over 2. We will then get y equals negative 1/2 x minus 1/2. Therefore, the equation of the line with a slope of negative 1/2 that passes through the point negative 5, 2 is y equals negative 1/2 x minus 1/2. Let's try another problem. What is the equation of the line that passes through the point 2, 6 and has a slope of 0? So let's see what we are given in this problem. We are given a point, which is 2, 6. x1 is 2, since 2 is the x-coordinate, and y1 is 6, since 6 is the y-coordinate. We are also given the slope, which is 0, and since m is the slope, m equals 0. Point slope form is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So let's substitute the numbers we have. So we will get y minus 6 equals 0 times x minus 2. Then we will distribute. 0 times x is 0, and 0 times negative 2 is 0. So we have y minus 6 equals 0. Then we will put y on one side and everything else on the other side. We will get y equals 6. Now this is interesting. We only have a y variable. We do not have any x variables. So what does y equals 6 even mean? Well, let's use a table to find out. So we have y equals 6. So in the x and y table, I'm going to put 6 for all the y values, since the equation says y equals 6. So if all the y values are going to be 6, what are all the x values going to be? The x values are all x value numbers. So in the x column, I can put any numbers I want. So I will go with -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. So let's draw a coordinate plane. And let's plot the points. When x equals -2, y equals 6. When x equals -1, y equals 6. When x equals 0, y equals 6. When x equals 1, y equals 6. When x equals 2, y is 6. So when we connect the dots together, you will notice that this forms a horizontal line. So when the slope is 0, a horizontal line will be formed. Let's think about why that is. So I'm going to look at x equals -2 and x equals -1. Let's look at the slope from x equals -2 to x equals -1. When x equals -2, y equals 6. And when x equals -1, y equals 6. So we are essentially moving across 1 unit, but we are not moving up any units. So the slope is rise over run. We are not moving up any units, so the rise is 0. But we are moving across 1 unit, so the run is 1. So we get 0 over 1, which equals 0. This is why the slope is 0.